What is up? I'm George Mossey. It's the George Mossey Show. So we're gonna be talking some before the 90 days tonight. Kara's gonna join us. We are on episode 12, 12 of before the 90 days. So we're gonna be talking about that. We didn't get any Sarper and Shekinah. Hold on, I get this mixed up. No, Niles and Matilda. We didn't get Niles and Matilda. Hey Gina. Hey Jal. Hey Laura. Hey, the Diva Speaks. Hi, Francis. We're just waiting on Cara to come in. She hasn't been getting notifications from me lately, so I don't know what's up with that. But she just texted me though, so she should be here in a second. Tina's here. Hey, Tina. So we're gonna get into this episode. Tomorrow is part one of the finale. I have bad news. So if you were looking to stream the finale, we were able to stream the other way on Max and Discovery. You're not allowed to stream the finale. It will not show up on especially Max, and I believe TLC Go will be there, but it won't be on Discovery Plus. So if you're looking to stream it, because I was definitely looking to stream it, you cannot. You have to watch it live, just like we've been doing with Before the 90 Days. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure after the other way is over, that'll be the end of any of the shows streaming without commercials. I think that's the last show to end. As it ends, that's when they switch it over to non-streaming. So yeah, we're screwed on that. All right, I don't know where Cara is at. I can't find her. So let me text her. Sorry, guys. Let's see if we can get her in here. Yeah, you can set the DVR. I watch it on TLC Go because the commercials are a little shorter. So I don't know why for instance tonight Before the 90 days ended at 9:45 instead of 10. So the commercials are a little shorter if you watch it on TLC Go. If you have TLC, the network channel for your cable package, you can set your DVR, which I do for Pillow Talk. So there's a whole thing. But okay, we got Cara in here now, so we're gonna get started. Let me get my notes. There's a lot that I want to cover. Hey, how are you?
It wasn't showing me you again.
Yeah, you told me you weren't getting notifications. Yeah. So that's weird. And I sent it to you also. So
maybe
like as a DM. So I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I didn't.
So Tiger Lily and Adnan weren't on. We were blessed with not having to deal with her voice this week. So it's the small victories, right? Small victory, because she's really annoying for me. So it was nice to not see them. Niles and Matilda were not on this week either. But we did get Sunny and Vea and Rory. And so I want to talk about the intimacy between Sunny and Vea, because it was a lot, right? Because we thought how innocent Sunny was, and Vea told us that he's not very innocent. It was a lot of bed breaking, loud ridiculousness, like your worst nightmare. So say you're in a hotel and you're trying to sleep, what they were doing was your worst nightmare. Okay, I spend time in hotels, right, because I traveled a lot, and it's your worst nightmare when you're trying to sleep and you hear someone going at it like wild animals. Yeah. It's like the worst possible thing that you can ever experience, because you don't want to hear it.
Yes.
You don't want to like hear walls and banging, and just like, oh. So that's
unless it's you.
If it's you, good for you. You are having the best night ever. But if it's the room next to you or above you, you are having the worst day ever, right? And I'm going to say my first ever place I ever lived in was an apartment, and the people below me were like that all the time. And that's actually the reason why I went from my first ever place was an apartment, and then I went into a townhouse. So the only person above me was me. So and there were like center block walls in between, because of those two people. And it was so awkward because like we would see each other like in the foyer area of the apartment, and it was just so awkward for me because I was like, I know what y'all were doing last night. So now I feel like I know more of your business than I
loading your groceries the next day.
Yeah, and I'm just like, ew, y'all, those are the two people. And then they would want to talk to me, and I'm like, don't talk to me. That's even worse. Like, I don't want to talk to you now that I know what you were doing. Okay, so I want to talk about this. So Vea and Sunny, they did have sex several times. I think they said three.
Yeah.
But right on the tail end of their happiness, she decided to subject Sunny into meeting Rory, and it went about as what I would expected it to go. When you bring your two boyfriends on a trip together and they didn't know that the other one was going, you know, it usually it's not going to go smoothly. So Rory, though, in my opinion, he's extra standoffish, which makes it seem like, in my opinion, he still has feelings for her. Because the way that he was talking to Rory, it was just really, I mean, to Sunny, it was kind of disrespectful. Because he was like, I don't really care how you feel, and you're just some dude from the internet, and you're this, and he's cussing him out. And I'm like, see, if you were just there for her moral support, you wouldn't be such a dick to him, right?
But he obviously got her story of how he reacted the first time. So he's probably a little bitter and pissed off, rightfully so.
Well, you're right. She went back and aired their dirty laundry to him, and then she initiated this meeting and wanted them to like each other. And you know what? We've talked about this a million times. If you want to get people to like your significant other, you can't only go to them when something goes wrong and tell them all of your business. Because if you're going to forgive them, because I told you this happened with a person in my family where they were in an abusive relationship. That marriage ended, by the way. But they were in an abusive relationship. They would tell us every time that that person would hit them. And then one Thanksgiving, they made up. And then this person is sitting at the table, and we're all looking across the table like, who's going to punch him, right?
Yep.
Like, because that's how you, but that's what she did. She airs all her dirty laundry to him. She tells him, you know, how he reacted. You know, he reacted pretty negatively, but if you want someone to like a person and you're going to forgive them, they didn't put their hands on you, you know, they didn't do anything unforgivable. You sometimes have to keep that information from the people that are going to be in your life because they hold grudges for you, right? You're not going
to. If you're dumb enough to agree to meet the ex just because you got laid last night, after you. First of all, you find out that you're supposed to be Muslim to be in this relationship to begin with, which is they're doing everything that they're not supposed to be doing. Who cares how she's dressed? Who cares that she's not Muslim? Who cares that they're having sex? And then just because you got laid last night, now I'm going to drop the bomb on you that, oh, also, I want you to meet him. I want you to meet my ex because I think you're in a good mood. This is what gold diggers do when they get with a guy and they're like, they have sex, they finally give it up, and then they're like, oh gosh, there's this Louis bag I really want. But the guy just got laid, so he's like, okay, here's the money. Go ahead and get yourself a bag. And then she dumps him because, you know, she got the bag she wanted.
This is true. She that was a very strategic timing. He's on top of the world. He just had the best night of his life, I'm assuming. And then you drop this bomb on him. So I wanted to ask you, if you were in this situation, do you feel obligated? Because it was weird to me that she felt like it was an obligation that Sunny and Rory need to get along in order for this relationship to work. Like, do you feel like it's your obligation to meet an ex or a best friend and y'all have to like each other in order for the relationship to progress? Because I don't think that's true.
Well, first of all, if my significant other is bringing their ex, we're already done. Like,
oh, so it's a no-go from there. And well, what if you knew that they were close?
Unless I had the backstory as to why the ex is coming. Like,
okay,
her backstory is pretty significant. So, but again, that's not aired. That's not aired for any of us to see. That was something I found out digging.
Yeah.
So that's not aired. So it's portrayed that she's this vindictive, sneaky, hiding little person when that's not the. So I feel like if my ex came to me from, or my current boyfriend came to me from, you know, another country and was like, look, I am terrified to fly alone. Not only am I terrified to fly alone, but I'm flying to South Africa, which isn't the safest place. There's only one person that knows everything that happened to me and the reason that I have trust issues. And so I need to bring them with me, but they're not going to stay with us. You don't have to meet them. Like, it's just strictly so I feel safe. If that was the case, I get it. But if it's going to be a sneaky thing, well, I don't agree with it.
I agree. think she wants to have her cake and eat it too. She wants to have Rory in her life, and she wants to have Sonny in her life, and no consequence. And I mean, I get it. You're allowed to have friends, right? Like, I would never tell a woman, like, hey, you can't talk to this person anymore if we're together. I would, if you can't accept the person for who you are, that's one thing. But this is a guy that she almost had a baby with.
Yes.
So then they lost the baby together. So I hate to say it, but they trauma bonded together, right? Like, when you go through a unimaginary loss with another person, you bond with that person under the pain. That's your common denominator. So he's always gonna, and also he knows everything about her. He's like the one single person in the world who knows exactly what's going on in her mind. That's very intimidating. If you're trying to be in a relationship with someone, because it's not, because people keep saying, oh, he's jealous. I'm like, it's not jealousy. It's when you're in a situation where you know you can't compete, it makes you feel inferior.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that he doesn't think that she loves him or he doesn't love her. That's irrelevant.
But
he feels inferior.
Not just that, you have to realize, excuse me, you have to realize that also when she leaves your country, she's leaving with him. They're going back to the same country together, which they don't live in the same state, but they live within driving distance of each other. So that's intimidating also.
Yeah. I think for me, if I was in Sonny's situation, it would be an issue just because, like he said before, you didn't tell me. And it's like, when you don't tell people things, there's a reason. You're withholding that information for a reason, and you're hiding something. You're being vindictive. You're being underhanded. Because she says, oh, it's not this, I don't love him. The way that he reacted and the way that he talked to Sonny at the pool hall, there's feelings there. And Rory had anger towards Sonny. And I'm like, well, if you only want her to be happy and safe, there's no reason for you to feel angry towards him. He's not an immediate danger. Even in his angriest moment, he didn't put a hand on her. Yeah. He even in his angriest moment made sure that she got to her hotel safe. So there's no reason why you think that she's unsafe with him, because he didn't show any show. I mean, people get angry, okay? It is what it is. When you push somebody's buttons, you poke the bear enough, they're going to get angry. But he didn't have any reason, because he's like, well, I would leave if she felt safe with you. She doesn't feel safe with you. And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean that you should be here cussing him out. That doesn't mean that you should even meet him. Yeah. You know, like, I think that she's instigating the situation by putting them to, it's like putting two dogs that are caged up that hate each other and then opening their cages. Yeah. Right? Because Rory doesn't like the idea of Sonny. Sonny hates the idea of Rory. Why in the hell do you think that they should be in the same place at the same time? Right?
And we all know that Sonny doesn't make good judgment calls, because look at his eyebrows.
Well, yes, his judgment is flawed, and I don't know if it's like a fashion statement for him for the eyebrows, because I remember I had bad eyebrows and people told me a lot, and after like the third time somebody told me, I went and had them done, because I was like, well,
hey, but would you get on national TV after the first time?
No. When the first time somebody said it, I went and looked in the mirror and I was like, wait, are my eyebrows shot? Like, do I look shot? And then, like, I asked someone, and then another, and I was like, no, my eyebrows are shot. I gotta go get them done. I'm not even gonna go to the grocery store looking shot. Right? Like, I'm not even gonna look crazy like that. So yeah, his eyebrow, his unibrow, whatever you want to call it, he makes bad judgment calls. He doesn't know, simple things that could be fixed. But I don't want to blame him for everything, though, because I feel like Vea, you know that meme where it's the little girl, there's a house on fire and she's standing there with the matches? I feel like Vea is the one that started all the shit. She's the main.
I agree, but at the same time, I can't get out of my head when she meets the friends are like, you have to convert, you have to be Muslim to marry him. And she's like, he's never said anything like that to me. So
yeah, that's true.
That's kind of a big thing. You just flew across a long ways, across the states, across the ocean, across the pond, across different countries. You flew 6,000 freaking miles. You think you might marry this guy, and he doesn't let you know that you need to convert to a different religion that you have literally no idea how it works.
Do you think she looked at it as, I came all this way and she had sex with him because she felt like that would make it worth it? Because she already said that there's no chance in hell she's converting for anyone. She was in a religious cult-like situation. So religion is never going to be something that she lets control her. So I looked at it as she was like, well, I'm already here. I'm attracted to this person, might as well just have fun. Like, and I feel like that's kind of where she landed. She's like, well, I'm obviously not going to convert, so we're never going to get married. But I'm here. I came all this way. I've never really left the country. I'm all the way in South Africa. Might as well have some fun. And I feel like that's kind of where she ended up.
Yep, I agree completely.
So let's talk about Joey. So Joey did not miss his flight. So last week, he went missing.
I have so much to say about this guy.
Premiere episode. So he overslept. He hadn't packed. Okay, so Cara, I'm the king of last minute packing. So like, if I have a flight tomorrow, I would pack tonight. Only because like I need like a toothbrush, a razor, some stuff that I use every day. So I can't throw it in a suitcase for like a week. So I'm a last minute person, but he actually hadn't packed the morning of his flight. So he overslept through phone calls. Magna called him. The producers are at the door. Everyone's calling. He overslept. He wakes up and he still makes the flight, right? Which kind of irritated me because I'm always sitting in the airport 2 hours or 3 hours before my flight because I'm a safe flight person, you know.
After he packed and had to turn around and go back because he forgot his passport. The one thing that's going to get him on the plane.
Yeah, the passport. Well, no. You can get on the, no, you're right, international. No, you're right. They won't even let you on. You need your boarding pass and your passport. Nope, you're right. So yeah, he leaves the airport, but he gets halfway to the airport, right? Before he realizes that he left his passport. So he's very absent-minded. You know, he was a worse nightmare. Like, cause I've been through some pretty bad travel situations and stories where I've actually missed flights. Half the time it was my fault. Half the time it was like transportation, you know, other stuff. He was a worst nightmare of like travel. Like, can you imagine if you were traveling with him, the anxiety that it would cause you? People like that. I've had people do that where I'm boarding the plane, my travel companion hasn't arrived, and they don't actually get on the plane until like 10 minutes before we take off. Like, it gets your anxiety up really high. The anxiety
was happening for the producers, and that made me feel bad for them because they were trying.
Well, you have to remember, the producers were already in Poland, right? So when he's leaving, they go there and they do the 24-hour prior. So they've already got people on site in Poland ready to film, and then they can't get this guy to get out of the, well, they didn't even know if he was in the apartment or not. Honestly, they didn't know what was going on with him. So the anxiety with that was crazy enough. But I wanted to ask you, what is your opinion of Magna? Because she's been trending on X. So a lot of people have a lot of stuff to say. So what are your initial reactions?
I cannot stand her.
What? Okay. Why?
I cannot stand her. There's so much about her. First of all, your dog didn't bite your ex's penis when you weren't home because he cheated on you. That's ridiculous.
So you think she
completely
made that up?
Yes. There's so much about this girl. She seems nice. She seems pretty. She seems cute. She seems funny. She seems whatever. This chick is so fake. She's in it she just wants to get to America. She thinks he's rich, which he may be. We haven't seen otherwise. We haven't seen that he's fake, that he's not. Like, I don't have anything against him, but we haven't seen anything saying he's oozing money. But the way he carries himself makes it look like he's rich. And that's what she's thinking. She's thinking he's rich. She's thinking she's going to get her green card to America. I can't stand her.
Really?
Mark my words. She is a vindictive, lying little sneak.
Really? Okay, so when I saw her first, I got like Yara vibes. Like at first.
I like Yara. I've liked Yara from the beginning. I cannot stand this girl.
So what do you think that she likes him at all? Because she was pretty touchy-feely at the airport. Because I was like, well, maybe she's in it for the green card. She doesn't even like him. She was pretty, you know, her tongue was down his throat, right? Like, I felt like she was.
He's an attractive man. I'm not saying he's ugly. I'm not saying he's drop dead gorgeous either. But he's an attractive man around her age. She's thinking, I mean, it could be worse. It could be a Jasmine Gino kind of situation.
Yeah. Well, she's withholding sex, right? Which was interesting because she said in one of her
for this first night, yeah.
Yeah, because she said I want us to go off and have intimate time together, and I was like, so what does intimate time mean? to you because you told him over the phone, don't bring condoms, we're not having sex. Do you think that she wanted him to not bring condoms on purpose, so when they do have sex, she's pregnant, and now there's no chance that he can leave her ass in Poland? Like, is that
she
the plan?
Very vindictive. She's a sneak. She's a liar. I do not like her.
Okay, I have to mark what you say because a lot of times in the early stages when we're talking about people, the things that you predict, we go back and find out that you were right. So I wanted to get your initial opinions on him. I think she's, like you said, she's really pretty. I couldn't read her, you know, like on what she's really about. It's too soon. I didn't have enough information to work with. But you know, I got different vibes. Like at first, when we first met her, I was like, oh, she kind of reminds me of Yara in the very beginning. You know, and Yara, who we got in the very beginning, to Yara, who we have now, are kind of two different people.
They are.
Right?
But I liked Yara in the beginning, and I didn't not like Jovi, but I wasn't a fan. Now he's grown on me. He's okay.
Yeah.
I still love Yara.
Jovi's all right. Outside of his strip club issues, Jovi's all right, right? Yeah. He's a decent guy. And I think Yara, a lot of people thought that she was a gold digger at first. And then she got over here and started making her own money. And it's funny because she talks about it on Pillow Talk all the time, where she used to ask Jovi for money and he wouldn't give her any money. And she's like, so I just went and made my own. Yeah. You know, like, because everybody thought she's trying to get his money. She's just over here so she could not work. But she makes her own money.
Yara said from the beginning, when she arrived in Louisiana, she was like, nobody wants to come live here. So anyone that's saying I was just trying to get here, I would rather be at home. I would rather, you know, from the beginning.
Wanted to live in Los Angeles and California. That was her dream. And I feel like Yara, you know, we've seen Yara. If her dream was to be in LA, she would be in LA. Yeah. If she would have found a man who could have took her to LA. She didn't, because New Orleans was not a prize to her. I think her exact words were, it smells like pee. Yep. I think it's exactly how she, it wasn't a dream to her. It's funny because I grew up right in the area, and around Mardi Gras, it does smell like pee. I'm not gonna lie, like it does. I have my family on my dad's side were all over New Orleans. So I've been all over New Orleans, and yeah, around February, March, it either smells like alcohol or pee. Yeah. You know, pick one. It's probably a mixture of the two. But yeah, so I'm interested in seeing where this goes though, because remember, he premiered in episode 11. This was only episode 12, so I have a vibe feeling that it's not gonna last. So I'm just wondering what's gonna be the last straw between the two of them, because she seems pretty set on getting her green card and coming to America. So I'm assuming something is going to go wrong with him instead of the other way around, because I think because he already cheated on her and she's already cool with it, you know? So it seems
everybody cheats on her. I mean, she moved to Germany. That guy cheated on her. Another guy cheated on her. Like, this girl is full of shit.
Was it a red flag that she met a guy from Germany and 3 months later moved in with him? Because she's kind of doing the exact same thing with Joey. So like, do you think that she looks for suckers?
She lived in Germany for 3 months, right?
Well, yeah, she lived with him. She met him and then within a few months moved in with him in Germany.
Only lived there for 3 months.
So do you think it's interesting that she tends to move really quickly and move in quickly? Because she told Joey she doesn't even want to have sex with him until she's living in the US. So it's really fast how quick she's moving.
Flying like crazy, like a whole ass carnival.
I mean, I felt the same way because even when he was describing her to us, I felt like vibes of when he said that, oh, she has a career and she worked at the jail and then she just quit cold turkey, just stopped
prison guard. Come on.
So wait, do you think that she was ever a prison guard? Do you think it's bullshit?
No, I think it's all bullshit.
She doesn't look like a prison guard to me. Okay. I don't know what.
First of all, this girl, she's super young, right?
23, I think. 23, yeah.
She's already moved to another country to be with another guy. She's already got her college degree in criminology, so she became a prison guard and then just randomly quit. Like, there's so much bullshit in this story, I can't even handle it. And then her dog bites her ex's penis when she's not home because he cheated. Bullshit.
Yeah, that's
bullshit.
That's the interesting story. I feel like that would have made the news, right? Like the interesting, you know, they have the weird and strange news. That would have made the news. I don't believe that. When they asked if her dog ever attacked anyone and she said, yeah, I'm like, yeah, it probably did. it was one of those really big mean dogs. What's like a Doberman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, it's one of those really big mean ones. They bite people. Okay, like
Yeah.
it's true. I don't think that it actually bit.
It's all a matter of how you raise your animal. I have 4 pit bulls sitting in there that would never bite a thing.
See, I believe that to be true. I believe that people's animals that attack or have a bad temper, a lot of times those dogs were abused or not treated the right way. And then they have trust issues with humans, and then it's a whole spiral effect.
Yep.
I do think that that is true because there are people who, I'm from Florida. I know people here that will take an alligator and raise it until it's too big and then put it back in the lake or whatever, and the alligator will never eat them. Okay, and an alligator will eat anything. So I think it matters how you treat your animals, and make sure that you're kind to them and you show them that they can trust you. Animals only have trust, right? Because humans, we have a really bad track record of destroying animals' homes, treating them wrong, killing them, hurting them. Like, we have a really bad track record. So you really have to teach an animal to trust you, because humans are basically the big bad wolf, right? We're the worst thing that can happen to an animal. So I totally get that. So so let's talk about this Vanja and Boja situation. So she met his friends, and his friends were on her side. So I have like theories, but I want to talk to you about this because he said that he doesn't want to rush into things. He also said that he's no longer speaking to in any capacity to his ex-girlfriend, which his friends kind of didn't believe him because they were like, well, why don't you just be honest with her? And he stood by that he wasn't still talking to his ex. I feel like it's either he's in a relationship with his ex, who he claimed broke up with him, which we had already discussed that and we already knew. He didn't break up with her, she broke up with him. It's either that or he's not into girls. It's nothing else, right? Like, what else could it possibly be? I was going through the list of things. What else could it possibly be?
So he tells her that their chemistry was off the charts on the internet, and then it's friendship chemistry when they're together. But then tells his friends exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. He said their chemistry is way better in person than it was online, and blah blah blah. Yeah. All of his friends are drooling over her, rightfully so.
She's beautiful. And even his friend, I don't remember which one, maybe Jacob said, he was like, she's way out of his league. Like, this is not the capacity of woman that he should even have a chance with. But again, she doesn't know the full truth. She doesn't know that he doesn't play basketball professionally. She doesn't know that he doesn't have a job. She doesn't know any of the truth. He hasn't. And it's funny because I was waiting, because part of being on the show, you have to eventually reveal the lies on camera. And we haven't gotten to that point yet, because I was like, well, now that she's fighting with you, this would be a good time to add some insult to the injury and say, oh, by the way, I don't play basketball. I don't get paid by anyone. I live with my mom and my aunt.
Insult to injury was just go home. Just go spend some time by yourself. I'm not going to introduce you to my mom.
That was insane to me. Like, he's punishing her now. Did you notice that? That was her punishment for asking for more time with him. He's like, well, now that you've asked for more time, your consequence for that is you get to spend time here in Croatia alone. I'm just going to ignore your existence. And it's the whole situation is just strange to me. And another theory I had was maybe she was very generous with him money-wise or gift-wise, and he liked that she sent things to him, but she was never supposed to come there.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like that? Because did you notice that his mom didn't know she existed until the day before she was to arrive? Like, she was a secret. So I'm beginning to think maybe she was somebody who sent him money or sent him presents or sent him whatever he asked for, and she was never supposed to show up. This happens a lot, right? This happens on the show a lot. The woman gets a sugar daddy or vice versa, and they're sending them things, but then all of a sudden when they book a ticket, oh my God, things have just gotten real. Yep. Now I have to explain to people here, who is this person? And why are they here? And I feel like he wasn't ready for that. And he definitely has something going on. I don't even know if it's the ex. I'm not sold on that. I'm not sold that he's
this guy. He's definitely with his ex. He's got a current girlfriend. Something's fishy off to the side. But his maturity level was shining bright tonight when he compared their relationship to Fred and Barney, 2 males, Rocky and Bullwinkle, 2 males, Thelma and Louise, 2 females. His crew was like the Smurfs. These are all cartoon people, other than Thelma and Louise. but they're cartoon people. This guy is such an immature child. Like, she's so far out of his league.
He said that his last ex dumped him because of his immaturity. So it's not like news to him that he's immature. He knows that he's immature. And I think that he's the common denominator and why he doesn't have a woman by his side. And it's showing that, I'm not saying that Vanja was his match. I don't know that. But the way that he's treating her, if this is the way that he treats women in general, I understand why he has so many exes and no current girls, right? Like if this is the way punishing a woman because she wants to spend time with you is crazy.
Yep.
I've never heard of this type of situation. He's like, I just want to get to know you first. And then she's like, okay, well, let's hang out. And he's like, well, since you want to hang out, now you can hang out by yourself.
He's like,
it's crazy.
I hang out because I got to get back to my girlfriend before she gets mad.
Well, I think the girlfriend is aware that he's doing the show, though, because I think that she's totally aware, and it's fine because he's told her he's not going to do anything with her. But I think that he's acting really nervous about it because, like you said, it's probably the same girlfriend that will break up with him. She's done it many times. So if he looks or does the wrong thing, she's going to dump him again.
Yep.
And I think that's why he's so scared to even interact with her. Like staying in an apartment for 24 hours, like his friend suggested, I think a jealous girlfriend would have a really big issue with you staying locked in an apartment with another woman for 24 hours, right? Like if you are in a relationship and you love each other, you're not going to want your spouse to, even if you trust people, you don't know the other person. Yeah. You know, like he doesn't, you don't trust the other person. You just trust the person you're in a relationship with. So I just think that it's crazy that he brought her all the way there under these pretenses. But I think that he never thought in a million years she would show up. And I think he was blindsided.
Originally, he thought she'd never show up. Then when the talk of her coming turned into a paycheck and a TV show, then he just told the girlfriend, hang tight, like one of the people that I have been gold digging is actually coming, but she's bringing a whole TV production company. I'm going to make 10 G's real quick, and then I'm going to send her home. And in fact, I'm going to tell her that I don't want to see her in front of everybody on TV, in front of my friends. I'm just going to tell her to go be alone. This guy is so full of shit. I just can't. I can't with him. This whole season, there's a lot of people I can't with this season.
Well, speaking of people you can't with, we're going to be talking about Brian and Ingrid. So they were back this week, and they went to the beach to get reacquainted. It's towards the end of his trip. I think there's like 3 days left. And his plan to get to know her parents backfired. Her mom hates him, as she should. Funny because the mom didn't even take time to get to know him. She just hated him right away, which is funny. Well, it's funny because before we knew anything about him, we kind of thought he was okay. But the mom saw...
Episode 1.
Yeah, we thought he was okay. But her mom took one look at him and was just like, I don't like you. There's nothing positive I have to say. When they tried to ask her how she felt, she was like, I don't have anything positive to say. Next question. Like she had no interest. So now he's trying to, I think he used the word solidify the relationship. So he wants to solidify. So I think in his mind, that means be intimate with her because that's the one thing. Yeah, that's the one thing that she refuses to do, which I stand behind. Don't do it. Don't do it, girl.
I can tell this guy smells bad.
Really? So
I can smell him through the TV. Like,
I was
yuck.
thinking that with Joey when he didn't take a shower before his flight, his 26-hour flight. I was thinking that, so I was like, he probably smells ripe. But okay.
He probably did a Darcy Stacy.
Oh yeah, he said that he drenched himself in cologne when he got off the plane. It's just crazy though, because I can't leave my house without taking a shower. Yeah. So when I see people like go for a 26-hour flight and you're just like not gonna shower, so you're gonna.
So if you went on a 26-hour flight and you're gonna meet your significant person you've been talking to across the United States, you know they're waiting on the other side of the glass. Do you put on some cologne, or what do you do?
Well, see, in my opinion, I wouldn't want them to meet me at the airport. I would want to like go and change and get showered, and then we would.
Ideally, that's what we'd all want to do, but that's not happening because the TV.
Well, yeah, there's a camera crew, so you have to have that moment for them to capture. It just would be really weird for me because I don't feel like sometimes I shower in car. I live in Florida. Sometimes I shower twice a day. Yeah. Like if I went out and it was 100.
I live in Oregon. Sometimes I shower 3 times a day just to get warm.
Oh, well, see, okay, so yeah, if I go out and it's 100 degrees and I'm out for too long and I have to go home and shower again. So like, yeah, I'm not that type. So I can't have people hugging on me and sticking their tongue in my mouth if I stink.
It is.
You know, like that's.
It is currently snowing and 17 degrees here right now. So I will be in the shower when we're done here.
It's snowing. Oh, that's awful. That brings back so many horrific memories from my Ohio days. I hated snow. I hated driving in it. I
Yep.
hated shoveling
I
it.
have.
Car, do you know how many times I walked out of my house and fell and almost busted my back in the
Do you know
snow?
how many times I have fallen and busted my ass right on my way to work? And the worst thing is, you have to realize that I go to work at 4 a.m. So it's extra cold and extra slippery. And when I do fall and bust my ass, I'm the only one awake.
See, I can't. I don't miss it. It's so scary. Like, who? What if nobody knew you were out there and you just sat out there? Like, that's scary. And
Yeah.
you know, leaving early in the morning, there's no tire tracks because you know when it's a whiteout and you're on the road, but you can't see the road. It's all white, and you need tire tracks so you can know what lanes are what. That's scary too. When you're the first one, you're the only tire track. So, are you on the road or are you in the grass? You don't
And
really
it's
know.
coming so hard at you, it feels like you're driving the Millennial Falcon.
I I don't miss it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't miss it. It scares me. And oh, so wait, we were talking about what's his name? Brian and Ingrid. Okay, so what was I gonna say? There was something that he did on this episode, and I forgot.
Okay, one of the things that he does that drives me crazy: stop buying her kids shit and then saying, "Come give me a hug. Come give me a hug." These kids don't know you. Period.
Well, isn't that the definition of buying someone's love? He's trying to buy the kid's love. He wants the kid to like him, but based on I'm the guy that shows up with things that toys and things that you want. You know, that any therapist will teach you that's not how you teach a child to love you.
Yeah.
Your love cannot be based on the condition that you brought something or you gave them something or you're giving them money or presents. That's any therapist will tell you that is gonna, hey, PRB, that's gonna it's gonna harbor a negative relationship. And I think you're right. I think that he is under the impression that he can buy or weasel his way into people's good side, you know. And we're gonna find out later, in a later episode, that he never once told Ingrid that he was married 4 times. And I was having this conversation earlier, and someone was like, "Oh, well, is it really their business to know?" And I was like, "Hell yes! If you're trying to marry me, I need to know that 4 people prior to me hate you."
Yeah.
I need to know that. That is very pertinent information for me to know.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he keeps using that, well, she didn't ask. I'm like, okay, so if you're an axe murderer and no one asked you if you were an axe murderer, is it okay for you to just walk around and tell people you're not an axe murderer? Like, I'm so tired of this omission thing that he uses. He's like, well, if no one asks you, you don't really need to tell people. And I was like, well, if you want her to make life-changing decisions to be with you, she needs to have all of the information. If somebody's been married 4 times, he's only 53, right? 53, 54. That's not old to have been married 4 separate times. Yeah. Well, he's like, well, it's 3, but 4 if you count the one in Rife. And I'm like, don't just stop counting marriages because they happen in Brazil. That's still a marriage. Like, what do you mean don't count that one?
Yeah. But also, did you catch the part where she said, I gotta get it verbatim. She has to make it possible for me to, when she's talking about coming to America, she has to know that she can bring her son. She did not say sons or children. She said a son, one son.
See, that came up too. And what I'm beginning to wonder is because only one of the sons is featured on the show, does she have custody of the other one? Because
so,
that was
whether you have custody or not, what kind of a mother is just going to leave the country and leave one of her kids behind? That pisses me off so bad.
I'm beginning to think that the one that she doesn't talk about and that we don't see doesn't have custody. And did you notice her parents only approve of the one son's dad who she was married to? That's the only guy they ever approved of. So there's 2 guys, obviously, 2 baby daddies. They don't approve of one, but they approve of the other. So I don't know. I had a lot of questions with that too, because I was like, that's a whole issue in itself, because even if the dad of the son that you do have custody of and you're on good terms, it doesn't mean that they're going to sign any papers and let you take their child to another country. I don't know any mother or father. I mean, I know some, Shekinah might, but like, I don't know any normal mother or father that would just sign over rights and say, yeah, take them wherever you want, you know, because Jasmine's going through that too. She's trying to get her sons. And it's like, how do you go and convince somebody to let you take their child to another country and just hope that their life is okay without you? You know, like that's crazy. But I don't think that Ingrid is actually considering going anywhere with Brian. I think that Brian is a red flag. And every time she learns more and more information about him, she realizes that he's not the right guy for her. Like, he said something tonight that was interesting. He was like, I don't think that Ingrid is the type of person who would take care of me as if I needed it. And somebody on Twitter, I hate to say it because I don't remember their name, but someone on Twitter said, being with someone for 20 or 30 years and then they happen to get sick or need full care is not the same as meeting someone and then 2 months later caring for them. And I think that that was so true, because some people have been married for 20 years and then there's a horrible accident and then one of them ends up having to take care of the other, and they don't mind because they love each other. They've had so many years together. This is the person that they built their life with. They just don't mind. This is just something that they're going to do. But he wants her within a few months to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to take care of you and I'm going to do whatever you need, because Ingrid made it clear. She's like, there are some things I don't want to do for you.
Right? He started her from the jump. As soon as he tells her how independent he is, there's nothing he can't do. As soon as he gets there, help me put my catheter in. I need you to help me shower. I need you to scratch my back. I need this. I need that. Then he finally makes good with her again after he screwed up 47 times. And then he's like, okay, so I love you. And also, I'm going to need help. I'm going to need someone to take care of me. Well, sir, you're on disability and the state pays for shit like that. So hire someone.
Okay, so everybody keeps saying this in Pineapple. You said it.
Have a daughter. That's her responsibility.
Yes, true. And Pineapple, somebody said on X as well as you, in all seriousness, wouldn't it be cheaper to get a caregiver? And then someone was like, well, you can't have sex with your caregiver. And I think that that's what his goal is. He wants somebody who's going to take care of him, who's super young and pretty, who he can have sex with. I think that is his main goal. I don't think
there is very much a huge thing called caregiver's remorse. And it happens a lot. It happens with animals. It happens with people. It happens a lot. I took care of my mom for her last 359 days on earth. I've taken care of a lot of people up to their dying day. And every single time hospice comes in and they offer me respite care, they tell me they don't want me to get caregiver's remorse, which I never did, thank God. But with them telling me that over and over and over again, I know it's a very real thing and it's something that they deal with. But also, my daughter being in the veterinary field, there's a caregiver's remorse when it comes to animals too at the end of their life. People go through it all the time. So if he's getting this girl and they're not together for very long and she's already going to have to take care of him, plus take care of her own child or children, depending upon how many she wants to count that day, it's not going to end well.
No, she's already over it. And it's funny because he's trying to convince her, like, oh, well, I want us to be in this relationship. I want you to take care of me and I want you to do. And like you said, he kind of groomed her to believe he didn't need anything from her except her love. And then as he got there, he started, like you said, blindsiding her with shit left and right. It was just, oh, well, you need to do this. And before I can go to bed, I have to have a catheter. And this, and that. It was a lot. And even, oh my God, remember he had her installing the pedal in rental car, and even she said it. She was like in her nice clothes and her freshly done nails and her heels. She's on her hands and knees installing a pedal, and it's like from the beginning he was grooming her into a caregiver, which is insane to me. But I think that he knows deep down he's getting older. He's gonna have to have somebody that is gonna be committed to taking care of him. But he also wants to have sex with that person.
Yeah,
because you can easily hire a caregiver or a nurse. They're not interested in you. It's a job. They're going to show up, take care of you, bathe you, cook for you, clean, and they're going to go home. And if you make a move, they're going to call the police. Absolutely. You know, like, and he knows that he needs somebody that he can get away with that with. And I hope she's just smart enough to run run far away, right? Like I don't want her to end up in that type of situation where she's stuck taking care of somebody she doesn't even know. Because it's like, it's not even a matter of love. She doesn't love him. She doesn't even know him. She doesn't know anything about him. She didn't know about his past. She doesn't even know about how many times he's been married. She don't know anything about this person.
She didn't even know how he got his injury.
Yeah, until he forcefully, I guarantee you the producers forced him to tell her what happened. He was never in a million years going to tell her that the situation was about drugs and his ex-wife and all this. He was never going to say it. He is the type of person who has gone through his whole life never telling anyone anything unless he has to. And it's catching up to him. And it explains why he's in his late 50s with 4 ex-wives. You're never honest with people. Honesty goes a long way. You will be surprised how many people can look past a mistake you made if you were just honest about it. If you were honest up front, you know, people can sympathize with you and show compassion, but when you lie or omit information and use that information against them later, they're not going to forgive you.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. Plain and simple. That's my final answer on him.
So speaking of piece of shit, we saw Renee tonight, and she said, her words, not mine, Chitty is now dead and gone to her.
Yeah.
She said that he is no longer a human being. She also said that if he was to try to contact her, she would not unblock him, which I think is complete BS. I was like, you stopped talking to him for 2 years and then you reach back out to him, but you make it seem like he's going to come crawling back to you. I was like, the best thing that you did for him was to leave. And I think that he's never going to contact you again. I think he saw all of the red flags and issues, even being blind, saw that he dodged a bullet. Yeah. And I think the way that she went over there and acted, you know, it just shows, it explains very, very well. Oh, did you see one of her ex-husbands spoke out, and he said that he wanted to make sure everyone was aware he did not abandon her and his child. And it wasn't because he was on drugs. It was because of severe issues mentally with Renee. Yep. He was like, so I want everybody to believe the truth, not the crap that she's spewing out, because she says that every man she's ever had abandoned her or a drug addict. And she was always the innocent one being, you know, left alone. And he was like, that's not true. He was like, I tried so many different ways to make it work with her, but she wouldn't get the help that she needed. So I had to, for my mental health, separate myself from her. So it turns out everything that she's saying is a BS lie.
Yep. The best part of her segment tonight was when she cried. It brought me so much joy.
I was just wondering why she didn't leave. I was like, Chitty, I'm surprised that you didn't call the embassy and get her out faster. Yep. You know, like, she shouldn't even be here. I was like, why are you here? Go back home to where you belong.
Victoria has dark energy. Ma'am, you are wrong.
She said that can you imagine Renee saying someone else has dark energy? She called a black man a bitch. She was putting her fingers in his face. She disrespected his whole family, his whole country. Yep. You know, she's over there acting a fool. And then she's like, these people have dark energy. And I was like, if you look up dark energy in the dictionary, there's a picture of her spazzing out. Yep. Like, that's literally
There's also a woman that says, I don't want any human interaction. I would be happy with a robot monkey. Well, even the robot monkey doesn't deserve that shit.
Nobody, robot monkey, alien, or anything else is going to deal with the type of abuse that she puts people through. She's an abusive person. And I know people are like, oh, emotional, verbal. Abuse is abuse. Yep. She abused Chitty to the point where I feel like he should file charges.
Absolutely.
Like, the disrespect and the out of his name and the degrading nature of the abuse that he endured with her, I feel like she should have to go to a judge.
I agree.
And answer for herself, because it's just so rude and nasty. I can't imagine, and I don't even care that he's blind or whatever. It's just no human being should be treated the way she treated him. Yep. She said he was not a man and a baby, and sucked his sister's breasts because he needed assistance being blind. Yeah. Who talks to people like that? Would you go to a person in a wheelchair and say that you're less of a human being because you can't walk? No. But she belittled him because he was unable to take care of himself with a disability. That's crazy.
Yep. She's a piece of shit human, and if I don't ever see her again, it'll be too soon.
Well, she thinks she's a huge star.
Yeah.
And she's going to be back. I've been seeing her posts a lot. She thinks she's a huge
Yep.
star. And she
Yep.
said that her 15 minutes are never going to be up and she's going to be everywhere. So we'll see, Renee. We'll see. Oh, so Lauren was back. Gonorrhea Lauren was back, and he was meeting Faith's family. Man. And Cara, Faith's family did not react the way that we wanted them to. They were just like, oh, he's a handsome American. You should forgive him and give him another shot. And I was just really shocked. Even after she came clean to be her sister, who's also a trans woman, I thought that this would, they would have an understanding. They would be able to understand each other. And even B was like, no, you should look past that because he's a man that will love you for who you are. And I'm like,
he also said, can't believe she bagged an American.
Yeah, they said that at dinner. You're right.
Yeah, and she also said that she has never had a boyfriend. So I'm sure that all sounds real appealing until it actually happens to you. So you've never had a boyfriend. You're dreaming of what it would be like. You're dreaming of being accepted. You're dreaming of being with an American. Your sister has all this, but your sister's invested and she put her heart into it. And she got her heart broke when she found out that he's got gonorrhea, herpes, syphilis, and that he's been sleeping with other people and all the things. It actually broke her heart, where the sister hasn't experienced that. She hasn't ever experienced being in a relationship or much less having a boyfriend. So I'm sure that until you actually feel those feelings, it doesn't seem so bad. It's just like if I told you getting hit by a car isn't as, I mean, it sucks. It sucks. It hurts. But you don't know because you've never been hit by a car. So you're like, it might not be that bad.
You're 100% right. Actually, when I was younger, a girl that went to our church, she got hit by a car. And
I got hit by a car.
Wait, you've been
hit
by a car?
I got ran over by a car. It broke both of my legs from my toes to my hips, and I had casts on from my toes to my hips. They said I'd never walk again, and I got the chicken pox under my cast. So let me tell you, it really is that bad. But you don't know because it never happened to you.
Well, right. I mean, we never understand what anyone is going through because you can never know, like, because you telling me what you went through, it sounds awful, but it's 50 times worse than what you're telling me.
But because if you saw me walking, you see me walking down the road, you're like, oh, it can't be that bad. She's fine. Because I am fine.
I would have never guessed that you went through that.
Nobody would.
I was just disappointed because I wanted her family to be more protective of her. But, people were arguing with me on X. They were like, well, this is like golden ticket for someone in where are they, the Philippines? This is a golden ticket, right? Like if you were able to bag an American, because they assume all Americans have a shit ton of money. And if they bring you over there, then all your money, you can send money back to them and your money is worth so much more. So even if you spend back $400, but that's like,
if you and I went on vacation there and we each took $2,000 and that's it, we look like the richest people out there because we just came to this country with enough money to buy two nice houses. So we look very wealthy.
Well, right. But in America, we could be underneath a bridge, right? Because $2,000 isn't even your monthly. Right. And
it's not enough for the mortgage, just for the month.
I think that if Faith is making decisions based on her heart and being in a relationship that's going to grow in a positive manner, she shouldn't be with Lauren. But if she's looking to, because I think her sister said it, she's like, this is a dream. If she's looking for the dream, this is the dream. I mean, it's not, Lauren. I mean, but I think when it comes to people from these countries, they're not looking for you to make them rich. They just want to come over here and do it for themselves.
Right.
Like, I think, because Faith works a shit ton now. So, like, if she was to come to America and she was able to, her work ethic is strong. She was able to come to America and work 2 and 3 jobs. She would be living the dream. Lauren would be Lauren, still working at TJ Maxx and not doing much.
But I don't care what country you're from. If you think being with an American is the dream, okay, let's say it is. That American sits in front of you and eats the way Lauren ate, I would immediately look for a different nationality.
What was that? A lot of people online said it was the rake it was the rake method. I've never seen anybody hold their plate up in the air and like rake food into their mouth.
Disgusting.
You
I was
horrified. The only other thing that was really weird. Remember, we were watching. I think it was. I forget what show it was. I can't remember now. Extreme Religion Love. I can't remember. But there was the people who ate out of the same with their hands.
Yeah.
That was really gross too.
That's what
and I guess
Lauren looks like.
It looked. It reminded me of that
bathroom shrimp guy that eats with his plate like that. This guy is so disgusting.
I don't want.
He's so disgusting. I have him and Kyle Gordy on the same level.
Really?
That's how gross he is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kyle he's a scumbag. So yeah, that's pretty high. I mean, I didn't understand why he was eating that way, but I was like, maybe he wasn't eating every day, because remember, he only brought $46, right? And I was like, well, maybe the days that he's not with Faith, he's not eating. Because I was like, maybe he's just really hungry. Forbidden Love. Thank you, Pineapple. For some reason, I couldn't think of that. So yeah, Forbidden Love is what we were watching. And they were eating, forking the food in with one hand, and everybody was eating out of the same thing. Yeah. Licking their face. It was just the most toxic, most germ situation I've ever seen. And then I saw Lauren and I was like, what are you doing? Why? Yep. And this is your first impression, you know? So in your first impression, you act like you have common sense and manners. And I don't know what the deal is with him. I just really don't. I'm so confused. Hey, Josh.
Yeah, I just can't with this guy.
So we haven't gotten to the scene yet where Lauren offers to marry Faith's mother. So I'm assuming that's coming. I thought it was going to be the table scene, but it wasn't tonight. So sometime next week. We're only on episode 12. I think there's 18 episodes is what I was told. So we're getting towards the end, right?
I don't know.
We're getting there.
I'm not going to lie. I was so excited in the beginning. It's all new people, blah, blah, blah. This has been a rough season.
It's dragging, right?
There's been these people. What is wrong? Why can't we just have normal people?
I mean, it's been dragging, and it's been hard to get through, which is funny because we asked for new people, we got new people, and now I feel like
we need to be more specific.
Yeah,
new normal people.
Just normal people in relationships that we can judge. We don't need people screaming.
Gonorrhea, without all the
chickens.
Yes.
Right, like just a normal season of people.
Devil. We don't need the chicken. We don't need any of that. We don't need liars in wheelchairs, and we don't need gonorrhea people, and we just need normal people, normal loving relationships. What happened to that?
I guess it's gone. I feel like it's out the window. Everything is just out of the ordinary, strange, ridiculous. Yeah. I just, like you said, I want normal reality TV.
Yeah.
I could come up with good stuff to say and talk about with just normal people doing normal stuff. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna wrap for tonight. We're gonna come back tomorrow. So guys, I was telling you earlier in the live, you have to watch the Tell All live. They're not streaming it until all of them are done. So if you set your DVR tonight, that way you can watch it and then fast forward through the commercials, because it's tomorrow. Part 1 of the Other Way Tell All is tomorrow. And I'm excited about that. And then we're going into part 2 next week. And then right after that, we're shooting right into The Last Resort. So we're going to get into that. And then right after that, we're going into The Last Resort Mexico House. So it's one after the other. We're going in swinging. We're kicking it. We're hitting the ground running with the new shows. And I'm all for the new shows. I mean, I'm not as excited for The Last Resort. It's just a repeat of all the people we've already seen over and over. But I am excited for the 90-day Resort Mexico House, because a new
Josh is not excited for tomorrow.
Not excited. Well, Josh, you know, the it can be very hard for people that are in the hot seat. You're in the hot seat.
It's okay. Josh. You're one of the normal people.
Yeah, you're a normal person, so they can't come for you as hard as they can come for everybody else, right? So, we're gonna figure out why Sean hates Inky tomorrow too. So I'm interested in hearing about that. All right, guys.
I don't know why either, but now I hate Inky.
Whoa, I want to hear the whole story though, because I don't believe everything Corona says.
Well, I don't either, but if Sean Robinson hates someone...
Well, yeah, she's like the most biased human being on the planet. You're right.
Yeah, and you could tell that she's not loving it, but Sean and what's-her-face, they're not a fan, and nobody's a fan of him. So something big time must have happened.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to know because he was pretty transparent with her all season. So I do need to know what Corona said to get everybody on her side. Because as of now, I'm not Team Corona or Inky. I think that they both got issues. I think they both got issues. Yep. But tomorrow we'll get some answers finally. All right, so make sure you're following my co-host Cara. She's tagged in this video. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at George Mossey, GeorgeMossey.com. Anywhere you get your podcast, type in the George Mossey Show. And I think that there's another podcast tonight with me and Shabuti later. I'll put it on my story. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Tomorrow. Bye.